Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you a most embarrassing moments. Get ready with me. So I'm going to be telling you my most embarrassing moments from my life. And before we get into it, I wanted to share a quote with you. And it is by William Arthur Ward. And he says, "To make mistakes is human, to stumble is commonplace, to be able to laugh at yourself is maturity." And I hope that I am getting to the part in my life where I'm mature enough to laugh at my own mistakes and embarrassing moments. And so far, I have really enjoyed laughing at the ones that I'm going to share with you today. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. So I will let you know that I put back my hair, I also did my eyebrows, and I used my concealer, which is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Defined in the shade C6. And then I set that with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Sweep and Lock setting powder in the shade Translucent. I don't even know if they have other colors. And then I am going to be using the Rosè in the Air palette. So while I'm using this, let's just go ahead and jump into the story. So I was about 6 years old when this one happened, and I just remembered that we were running super late for school, so I went into the room where we had our shoes. I think it was like a little mud room basically, and it wasn't the most well-lit room. I just remember thinking it was a little bit dark, and my brother and I had similar looking shoes at the time because they were just like some black casual shoes basically. And so I went ahead and grabbed my shoes and I put them kind of on my toes and then just ran out the door to the bus stop, which was like right outside our door, luckily. And then I went ahead and got on the bus, and I didn't start trying to put on my shoes until I was on the bus. So as I'm putting them on, I start to realize that one is not going on at all. So then I start to realize that there is a little bit of a problem and that I actually grabbed my brother's shoe. And that's why it wasn't fitting. So I had one shoe of mine and one shoe of his, and I just remember when they dropped us off, we had to go to this sandy playground, and I just kept thinking, what if the kids noticed that the shoe prints were different? Like, that's how I thought they would figure it out. Which was really silly, but you know, 6-year-old train of thought. So then I decided to go ahead to go into the principal's office and try and call my mom. And I went to the principal's office and I call my mom and I start trying to whisper to her that I accidentally wore Keith's shoe, and she kept being like, "What? I can't hear you, speak louder." But I just really did not want the office ladies to hear what had happened because I was so embarrassed. So I just finally I decided I'd better speak up so she could tell I could tell her I needed her to bring my other shoe to school. And so I'm like, "Mom, I accidentally wore Keith's shoe to school, okay?" And then all of the office ladies just started like cracking up, but they're trying really hard to be nice and holding it in, but they're totally laughing, and my mom starts laughing too, and I'm like, "Mom, this is serious, come bring me my shoe." So she was really nice and brought me my shoe, but I just remembered being so embarrassed and like wanting to hide because I did not want the office ladies to know that I had worn the wrong shoe to school. So yeah, that was one of my most embarrassing childhood moments, and it was a good, fun memory. Now, like jumping ahead, I'm sure I had lots of embarrassing moments in high school as well, but I just liked this story better, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this one from college. So when I was in college, I was friends with guys mostly, to be honest with you. Pretty much all of my friends were guys, and one of them asked me on a date, and I was friends with him and his roommate. And one of them was really into basically taking all kinds of fruit juices and mixing them together. And so they decided that it would be fun to just like buy a whole bunch of different types of soda and juice and mix them all together so that you could make different tasting juice. I don't know, just crazy concoctions, I guess. And it was actually pretty fun. Seems kind of weird, but it was actually kind of fun. And I'm like notorious for choking though, and it's just like really sporadic that this happens to me, but it's almost like my throat will stop working correctly. And so I'll go to swallow and my throat just kind of catches and then I start choking. So that actually happened on this date. So I was like choking really bad after having taken a drink of my random concoction of fruit juices and soda. And my date just kind of like froze and stood there. So then his roommate that I was also friends with just kind of like, I had run over to the sink, but I wasn't able to cough much up yet. So he decided that I needed the Heimlich and basically started doing the Heimlich maneuver like right in front of my date. And yeah, it was just really embarrassing. The whole room was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine." And yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. So yeah, that was a fun one. Now I'm going to go ahead and get a makeup remover wipe and take this off, and then I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I just needed to focus just a little bit to make sure I got these edges a little bit more matched up. And now I'm going to go ahead and use the Maybelline Fit Me, and this is their Dewy and Smooth version, and this is in the shade Porcelain. So I'm going to be using my AOA Studio Beauty Sponge, or whatever they call it. And then I will tell you the story in college where I was walking into this big auditorium, and this big auditorium, we were basically having like a huge forum where pretty much all of campus would go and listen, and we were all like walking this huge crowd into this really tiny hallway that they kind of had going into the back of the building. And I was wearing high heels that day, and it had also been like rainy or snowy, I can't remember which. And so as I was walking in, I reached the end of the rugs that they have to, you know, be able to dry your shoes off basically. And my heels were kind of getting older, and so they were to the point where sadly the very tip of the heel, like on the back, was down to the plastic part, like the rubber had all come off. But they were like my favorite black shoes, so I was wearing them anyway. And once I got like past the rug, I caught just the way that I just stepped just right to where I completely like fell backward because I slipped because I hit the slippery like plastic part of my shoe. So it was probably like a crowd of like 50 people like all saw it happen, and they were all just like staring down at me like, "Are you okay?" as I'm like on my back and just like, "I'm fine." And so like one of the guys that was standing there like reached down and basically like picked me back up and was like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "I'm fine, I'm fine." But I was like so embarrassed because this happened in front of so many different people that I was like, I do not want anyone else to see me. So I literally like tried to like shuffle my way through the crowd, and I finally got like through the crowd, and I just turned right and like went all the way up the stairs in the auditorium and just like sat on the highest bench and tried to like cover my head in my arms because I was so embarrassed that like 50 to 100 people had just seen me totally like biff it and fall on my face. So yeah, that was a fun time. And It was a little embarrassing, but it's okay. I'm over it. It was really funny. Alright, before I go on to tell you my next story, I am going to be using the Revolution concealer again and putting it under my eyes. I'm doing kind of the highlighting portion, and then I'm going to be using my Butter Blush and my Butter Bronzer right here, and then the Essence Pure Nude Highlighting. Be my highlight in the shade 10, so that's that shade. And now I'll get to the story. So my next story also happened in college. It was when I was living in this apartment that was kind of on the bottom part of campus, and I just remember that I was running late for class, and I was supposed to kind of help the teacher start the class that day, and everyone had to do it, so it wasn't just like me only that did that all the time, but it just happened to be my turn this day, and I was running late. So I just remember on my way to class, I was running along and I saw this really cute guy, and I just thought, oh, it would be so embarrassing if I like tripped in front of him because he's like super cute, and he was far away though, so I was just kind of laughing to myself thinking, well, I hope that if I did trip, I would trip like in front of this bush so that he wouldn't see. I don't know why this like went through my head. But the next thing I know, there was like a big like metal plate that was on the sidewalk because they were doing some construction. And so I think they had like a hole in the cement or something. So they put this big metal plate, and it probably sticks up like just like a quarter to a half an inch. And I like totally biffed it and tripped on this metal plate like right in front of the guy. And he stopped and was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm fine," even though I was like not fine. So he left because I like insisted that I was fine. So I finally get up and I look down, and I have a hole in my pants and my knee is bleeding, but I still like had to go to this class because I didn't want to get in trouble. So I went ahead and like ran to my class still, and my hands were like all dirty because I landed on the gross cement and like metal plate thing. So I get to class like, oh, and then I was like crying because it hurt so bad, but I was trying not to cry. So my eyes and my nose were like all splotchy and red, and I just remember like getting to class and everyone was kind of like looking at me like, what happened to you? And I just like got up, helped this teacher start class, and then I like sat down and was like, oh my gosh, please no one look at me. So yeah, that was that experience. It was so embarrassing. And luckily everyone was like really nice about it, and we're like later like after class everyone was like coming up to me and being like, "Are you okay? Did you like what happened?" And I'm like, I don't really want to tell you right now, but I tripped. Yep, I tripped because this is what I do. I trip a lot. So yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, pretty much all of my embarrassing stories involve like tripping or falling or something like that. What I did forget to tell you though is that when I was in high school, the shoe incident sort of happened for a second time, only I did it with flip-flops because they're in my closet, and my closet didn't have like a switch or anything. It was kind of dark. So I, yeah, tried to get the right color of flip-flop, and I accidentally got a blue one and a green one. So then I went to school and I got to my first class and I looked down and realized that my flip-flops weren't matching, so I had to call my mom and ask her to bring me the correct color. So yeah, that story happened twice, and I was like, oh great, I'm reliving this moment again. So yeah, that one was pretty hilarious. And then, okay, my last story is another choking one. Like I said, It's the weirdest quirk about me ever, but I swear I choke like once a month, and sometimes I tell people, like, if I haven't choked this month yet, then I must not be me, because I'm just saying, like, I choke every single month, I swear. So I was on a first date with this cute guy that I really liked, and we were at Applebee's, and you know, like, they have the nice lighting, and for like the place that I went to college didn't really have any nicer restaurants. Like, that was the nicest restaurant in the whole town. So we went to Applebee's, and I was like, we were having a great time. The conversation was pretty good, actually. And all of a sudden, like, I went to take a drink of my lemonade, I think. And again, like, my throat caught, and I just started coughing, and like some of it like spurted out onto my plate. And so I like grabbed my napkin and tried to cover my face. And it was just sort of like spewing out everywhere, this juice, and I was so embarrassed. And my date was like, "Are you okay?" And so then the rest of the night, sorry I bumped my camera, but the rest of the night, I was coughing like the entire time. So then he kept just trying to like ask me how I was doing, and I couldn't stop coughing, and I was so embarrassed. I just wanted to go home. Because yeah, because it was really embarrassing, and like everyone kept just looking over at me like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? And can you please stop coughing now?" So yeah, I'm using the L'Oreal Lash Paradise to do my mascara, and today I'm feeling like just not doing eyeliner, because sometimes I just like that look. It's softer, and sometimes I will also just leave my under eye blank when I'm just going without eyeliner. So I just thought I would fill you in that I'm just going to be doing my mascara. And then I'll probably just grab some of my Plumping lip serum or my Revlon. Maybe I'll use the Revlon Kiss Plumping Lip Cream. And this is in the shade Peony Buff. Anyway, so yeah, those are pretty much my most embarrassing moments. And I don't know if I ever went on that. I think I might have actually gone on another date with him. I think we ended up going on like 2 dates, but I was just like sure that he would never ask me out again. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this chit chat, get ready with me, where I tell you all about my most embarrassing stories. Anyway, so just remember to laugh when things go totally wrong, and I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!